We've officially made it past the first quarter of 2025, and I'm here to update you on my 100 book goal for 2026. Oh my gosh, I said 2025. Let's recap January, February, and March, and we're gonna tier rank the books. And I'm gonna keep kind of a short little review of each one, summary, and explanation for why I ranked it that way. So in the 3 months, I read 22 books. My original goal was to get to 9 books for every month. I didn't get to that, but I don't think I fell behind either because I still made it to 22 books. I just read nothing but bangers for January, February, March. Like literally every book hit. There was only a couple that I would say were like mid. Sky Full of Elephants, and I'm gonna have to put this book in the loved category. I really enjoyed the plot of the book. I really liked the characters, and I see people online critique Sydney.
Actually, before we get too much into it, let's go ahead and say there are going to be spoilers in this video. So if you haven't read any of these books, just go ahead and skip to the next book because I don't want you to get any spoilers if you care about that. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
I put this in the loved rank because I think the plot was really good. I see people online complain about the ending, and I do think the ending was a little bit like anticlimactic because there was a little bit of like, it just kind of, I don't want to say fell flat, but it just, not everything is wrapped up neatly in a bow, which is fine because I liked it. I still enjoyed it, but I do understand some of the critique about how the book was ended. Also, Sydney is like really super unlikable the entire time. Like she's biracial, but like she's one of those that like is very like
Anti-black,
you know, and like all the things that she says about like the people around her, the black people around her, is like, it's just very like, ugh, you get the ick the entire time. But her journey to kind of like accept herself and like start to love her blackness and stuff, like it is good. It's just like getting there is a bit painful. So that's why I put this in the loved category. Still a good book is Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. Listen, I'm struggling to get through the Throne of Glass series. And I know that's like everybody's favorite. Everybody's like, that's like people, that's how people get onto book talk or whatever. But I don't know. It's like painful to get through this series. Like I think I read 2 more of the series in this span, this January, February, March span. And it was literally very difficult to get through. And honestly, the first 2 books in this series are just as painful. However, though, I will say one thing about Sarah J. Maas's writing, like once you get to the end, it does pick up and you're like, oh wow, this was good. But then you have to remember, like, no, I just read like 250 pages before I got to this part. Like, you know, and I don't like that people are always like, oh, you gotta keep reading, you gotta keep reading. It's not that good of a series if I have to read like 5 of the books before it gets good.
Yup.
I have to stop saying that as your defense for these books because that's just not doing it. It's not doing it. And I don't hate these books. Like I like Aelin. I like the story. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about it. It's just hard to like sit there and like force yourself to read. Like it's a little boring. Also, I feel like I'm annoyed that every book she has a different love interest. Like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? Like, first book is Dorian, love Dorian. Next book is somehow Cal. I don't know. But yeah, that's why I put this one in forgettable because it's like I probably won't ever read that again. I'm not gonna lie to you. Home is Where the Bodies Are by Jeneva Rose. This is my second Jeneva Rose. I put this in the enjoyed because it was a good time. It's about these 3 siblings. Their mom just passed away and all the siblings are estranged and they have to come back to the house to like take care of their mom's affairs. But like there's this dark secret that they find out, like their mom left a tape. I don't like the main character. What was her name? Elizabeth, I think. Beth, she was the worst. Like, oh my gosh, everything was so like, I'm a victim, but I'm also like in charge and I'm the boss. And she was very unlikable, but like you kind of are like forced to like her because of what's happening in the rest of the story. She's really awful to her sister who's a drug addict and like literally in recovery, and she's like terrible to her and I don't like that. And then her brother, she like is like very entitled to like what he has. Rightfully so though, because of the circumstances. But it was still good. I still liked it. I like Geneva Rose's writing. I feel like it's very like easily digestible. I read The Perfect Marriage, which I really liked that book. It was fun. Like I was giggling and laughing the entire time. I have The Perfect Divorce on my list because that's like the sequel to that one, but Home is Where the Bodies Are is really good. It's fun. And I like how each chapter goes from the different siblings, so you get the different perspectives. So I put that in enjoyed because I did enjoy myself. One Dark Window. This one was a pleasant surprise. When I started, I don't read a lot of like adult fantasy. I feel like this is adult fantasy. So I'm kind of like dipping my toes in the pool when it comes to that. The magic system, when I first like kind of was trying to figure out what the book was about, I was like, that's interesting. It doesn't really make sense. But as you read, the magic system is like super cool and unique with like the cards and stuff and how the cards have different powers. Love interest in this, very strong, very good. The dynamic between her and the monster in her head, interesting. It was really cool. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it. The reason why it's not in the loved category, there was just something that didn't push it over the edge for me, you know, like, I don't know. And there is another book, the second book that's on my list to read, and I will be reading it, but I don't know. I just feel like there were some questions left unanswered that I didn't like. And I do feel like, yeah, I know there's a sequel, but I feel like the questions could have been answered in the first one. And like, I'm annoyed that they weren't, because I'm not gonna pick up the next book right away. Like I have other stuff planned. Like you're not gonna force me to read the sequel because you don't want to answer the questions that are in the first one. That's just how I feel. The 7-Year Slip. I loved this book. Loved it. It was so fun. It was so like lovely and enjoyable and sweet and just like all the nice things that you could put into a romance book. The only thing is, the reason why I didn't put it in Mind Blown is because it just wasn't like that complex of a book. Like the themes in it that were explored was nothing that like to me would put it in the Mind Blown category. Like it was a good book, like a palate cleanser book. It was a book that you could recommend. It was a nice, like, that's like a perfect book to like take on vacation with you. It is about grief and like loss, but it's not heavy, you know? And I feel like that's why I didn't put it in the Mind Blown, because it didn't tackle any like heavy topics. Like it did kind of touch on them just a little bit, like, oh, you know, we're gonna mention suicide and like mention these things, but we're not gonna like delve into it. And that's why I didn't put it in the Mind Blown category. Not to say the book isn't great, because I do think I gave this book 5 stars. I have Beautiful Boy. Beautiful Boy was a really good experience. I wouldn't even say good, because it was painful. It was a good story to be told. I did love it in a way that's like, it's like a real tangible person in a book, right? Because it's a memoir, so it feels like a real person when you read it. So you have to like treat it sensitively, which is why I put it in the loved category. And another reason why I didn't put it in Mind Blown, because I don't feel like it had like a personal impact on me in a way that I would put it in the Mind Blown category. Like it did enlighten me onto different like parenting challenges and like addiction and things like that, but there wasn't anything like that, you know, that's just that thing that like puts it over the edge, you know? It didn't have that. But it was still good, and also 5 stars for me. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. This one I put in the enjoyed category. Very easy read. There was nothing that went over your head. There was no pretentious language. What the character is going through is very like, you know, I didn't like the end. I didn't like the 9/11 tie-in. I'm sorry. Like I was like, oh. When it happened, I said, oh, but it didn't have any like deeper meaning value to the book from what I could pick up. Like all of a sudden it was just 9/11 and her friend died at 9/11. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just was like right after she woke up from her year-long nap. And then I didn't like how she talked about herself like as a woman in regards to her little like weird situationship with her boyfriend on and off again, guy friend. I don't know. I didn't like it. So that's why I put it in the enjoyed and not loved. It was funny. I would probably recommend it to like a very specific select group of people. Reformatory by Tananarive Due. This book was like powerful and devastating and moving. We see Robbie and his sister Gloria live in this like super racist town. It's during 1950, like Jim Crow, Florida. Yeah, they live in Florida. And Robbie gets in trouble because his sister is like accosted by this white boy. And Robbie is like, well, first of all, Robbie is like 11 and he kicks the boy, and then he gets in trouble and he gets sent to court and they send him to this boys' home. But really the deeper reason why is because their dad, he tried to start like a workers union in Florida, and like the Klan and the white people did not like that. So his dad had to leave town, and they're mad. And so in an effort to get back at their dad, they basically take Robbie to this boys' home. And this boys' home is ran by like these like demonic evil people. Warden Haddock, and he's just evil. He's molesting the boys, he's hurting them, he's beating them. He finds out that Robbie is sensitive and can see haints in the school, and Warden Haddock, because he's obviously like killing different boys, he like hates the haints and he doesn't want them haunting the school because they cause problems. The haints started a fire, like he wants to get rid of them. So he gets Robbie to basically find these haints for him. And the things that Robbie goes through at this school are horrific, and they're even more horrific because they're based off, the Reformatory is based off of like a real school, boys' school that they sent kids to, white and black kids. So again, another, Tananarive Due is such a good writer, and all of her stuff is horror with like a mix of the real elements and the supernatural ones, and they're just married together so perfectly. And that's why this book is in mind blown. The ending of this book is so poetic and satisfying, and justice, even if it's not justice in a conventional way. Robbie's well, I did say spoiler. I did say spoiler alert. So Robbie's escape really just set the whole thing off. Gloria helping him, the people that help them. Honestly, any Tananarive Due book that you're gonna read is gonna leave you mind blown. Like, and that's a promise. That's a promise. Okay, yeah, she never misses. Assassin's Blade. Hold on, before you get in a tizzy, can we just be honest? Can we just be honest about how the story is all over the place in these books? I'm reading the books in publishing order because I know some people like to read the Assassin's Blade first. If I had read the Assassin's Blade first, I feel like I maybe would have appreciated the story in a different way, but reading it fourth did not have this emotional impact that everybody says that it has. Like, everybody's like, oh my God, it's so heartbreaking at the end, and Sam, and I don't know Sam. I've gotten to know all these other love interests in the first, second, and third Throne of Glass books. Who is Sam? I don't care about him. I don't care. Like, and y'all are not gonna make me feel bad either. I feel like people literally are, y'all are faking. I'd be seeing people talk about, oh, I read Assassin's Blade and I was sobbing. Oh, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. What am I missing? And that's why I put it in forgettable, because I don't care. Too much happening. Why are you introducing me to like all these characters? I don't know. It just, I
feel like it's a lazy way to tell a story.
Like, is that illegal? Is that illegal? I'm just speaking from like a writer perspective. I feel like maybe Sarah J. Maas wanted to introduce these characters in some way, and she couldn't figure out how, and so she did it with all these novellas, and then she couldn't figure out how to embed these stories into the other parts of the series, so she said, well, let me just throw them the prequel. And I hate it. I don't like that. Let's not do that anymore. You know, I didn't hate it. It was interesting while I was reading it. That's why I didn't put it in actively hated. And I think I gave it like a 2 or 3 stars. Like, it was cool, but forgettable, you know? Like, it didn't do anything for me. Hunger Games. I'm rereading the Hunger Games as an adult is so much different, because when I'm reading it now, I'm like really seeing them as like kids, and it's horrible. It's like terrible. Like, why are they fighting? Like, why is Rue dying? Like, she's a baby. It's horrible, but it's such a good story, and I feel like it's so deep. It's so deep, you know? Had to Be in Love. I didn't put it in Mind Blown because I reread it a couple times, but it's a reread as an adult. And yeah, I just didn't put it in Mind Blown because I've seen the topics before, so maybe that's why it didn't like hit me like a stack of bricks. Junie. Now, when I first picked this book up, I read this book off of being suggested to read it by a friend, and I didn't know it was about slavery. And so when I started reading it, I was pissed off because I'm like, why am I reading a slavery book? I don't like that. I don't get into that. I don't, unless it's nonfiction, I don't want to read about people being enslaved. It's like, it's tired, it's not fun for me. This is not enjoyable. However, as I was reading it, I do think the way that Junie is written is important because it shows the way in which different people that were enslaved did rebel and did behave. Like, it humanizes them in a way. And like Junie's character, she wants to run away, but when she tells her family that she wants to run away, like, they shut that down. Like, they're like, girl, you tripping, we ain't running away. And it like makes you mad because in your modern day brain, you're like, why would y'all even question that? Like, she has a method, she has a plan, she has a route of escape, and y'all are questioning that. Y'all talking about, oh no, we good over here. What? Like, that made me mad. But it does kind of give you a different perspective as to where people's head might have been at during that time. However, I didn't like it. And I didn't like how like she was besties with literally her white owner. Did not like that. But again, in the story, Caleb, the boy that she falls in love with, is like, that lady owns you, right? Like, y'all not friends, So every critique that I have did kind of get handled really well in the book. And I do think the subject matter is handled really well. But again, this is a preference thing. I don't like reading about slavery in a fiction way, like, it's not entertaining for me. However, this book does it really well, and I didn't know it was about slavery to begin with. If I knew, I would not have picked it up. But I was trusting recommendations from other people, which sometimes you could get burnt by. So it is what it is. So I put it in forgettable because I would like to forget it. But they do, everyone in it gets their get back on the slave master. So again, it wasn't that bad. Like, it didn't like, how some books about slavery like make it seem like, oh, but these white people were nice. No, it wasn't like that at all. So I'll give props for that. But it's just a preference thing as to why I put it in the forgettable category. Wuthering Heights. I read this book because I had planned to read it before the movie came out. Before I started seeing all the discourse about the movie. First of all, literally, before I read the book, I kept seeing all the discourse about Heathcliff and Jacob Elordi being casted as Heathcliff. And I was like, wow, like, this is crazy. Like, what? He's supposed to be brown in the book or black, like Heathcliff's race is like ambiguous, but he's clearly not white. And I was like, man, it can't be that bad. Literally 6 pages in, they're saying all types of stuff, calling him brown, calling him a slave, like they're treating him like a slave. Like, I'm confused as to why he's a white man in the movie. I'm very confused by that, and I don't want to hear anything. I do think Jacob Elordi is a good actor. However, I just feel like it's a totally different story being told, because from what I read, they're all mistreating him because he's not white. Like, they're literally doing horrible things. And I have a controversial take that I don't see people saying. I don't think Heathcliff was wrong for how he was doing those people. Don't care. Like, they were being racist. They deserve everything they get. Like, I don't know. Like, why do we feel bad that he was mean to them after he got some money and he stole their stuff back?
Good, done with that.
Okay, he was a little bit mean to his wife. But, like, his wife and her brother were literally racist to him first. So it's like, fair game. You fell for it. And, like, people warned you and you still went anyway. If he was mean to, like, his own son. But again, like, he still, like, gave him a house to live in. Like, I don't know. And Heathcliff did eventually come around at the end, right? I did see people saying, like, they didn't even show the second generation in the movie. I probably won't watch the movie just because, I don't know. And then I seen a video of the producer lady being like,
well, this is how I saw Heathcliff.
well then, girl, you can't read. Like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch a movie of a book adaptation for somebody who didn't even read the book material. Why would I watch it? It's a different movie. You're gonna have to market it to me a different way then, because I'm not gonna watch it based off you marketing it off the book. If you yourself are admitting to not even understanding the book, sue me. I don't know. Outside of that, the reason why I didn't like it, I didn't like how they was treating Heathcliff and then making it seem like Heathcliff was so wrong and bad and evil for just like reflecting back. Catching Fire is like almost as good as The Hunger Games. I did put it in the love category. I love Finnick Odair, love his character, love his story. I love all the like welcoming back tributes. This book is even more like a scathing critique of society and capitalism and the people who participate in it. Again, I didn't put it in Mind Blown because it was a reread, so it's not, these things weren't like new to me. 5 stars and no notes. It's All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. When I first picked this book up, I didn't know. This was my first S.A. Cosby book, so I was not familiar with his game. Fantastic read. True crime. It was about super like rural small town in Virginia. Tigist has left the FBI because of like some crazy stuff that happened to him, and he goes to this town and he's the sheriff, and obviously he's like the first black sheriff of the town, so like there's a lot of like racial elements to it, and then these crazy murders start happening, so they're trying to figure out what's going on. It's like got like religious undertones in it, and the exploration of that, like being black in the South and like struggling with like religion and racism. It was so good. It was so good. And I'm really excited to read anything else from S.A. Cosby. I did put it in Mind Blown because I had no idea what was happening the entire time. Like, I wasn't sure who the murderer was. I wasn't sure where we were going. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. It started off crazy with a school shooting, but like it wasn't really a school shooting. It was, and then what happened after, like, oh my gosh, the whole time I was like, what is going on? What is going on? It was so good. And I just found out there's a movie or a TV show adaptation that's gonna eat so bad. Oh my gosh. It was good. Definitely mind blown. I had no critiques of this book at all. And it made me literally, I added every single S.A. Cosby book to my TBR after I read this book, because I was like, yeah, I'm sold. Give me more, please. 1619 Project. This book was painful to read, but it was also super interesting unlearning and learning about American history and how much American history is tied to slavery. Like every single aspect of it, starting from the formation, and like, so it was like uncomfortable, but it's so important to read. Like, I feel like the 1619 Project needs to be like mandatory reading for all students. I need to honestly get the like the physical book, because I listened to this in the ebook. It was mind-blowing learning all of the things that you don't really learn in history, and about how much slavery was involved with the Revolutionary War, because we only get taught that slavery only became a problem until like right before the Civil War. That's like so untrue. It's untrue, and there is data and evidence to back it up, like letters written by George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, and like it's very frustrating, but I do think it's an important read, and I definitely was mind blown. Nat Turner, Black Prophet, was absolutely mind blown by this. Mind blown mostly because I had no idea how much religion played a role in Nat Turner. It was interesting to learn how much of like a spiritual aspect there was to it. Like, Nat Turner was very involved in his religious community in Virginia. He had dreams. He heard the voice of God telling him to do the things that he was doing. After Nat Turner was arrested, he basically did like a full long interview with this man who like wrote everything that he said down. So it's very detailed account of like what was going on in his brain beforehand, and like what influenced him going into like the Haitian Revolution, a lot of like astrology, numerology. Very, very interesting and enlightening. It was definitely mind blown. Again, this is a topic that we don't really get taught in school, which is why it's super important to go out for yourself as an adult and read these things. We have Beloved. Now, I put Beloved and enjoyed. Writing is absolutely phenomenal. Like Toni Morrison is an elite writer. Like there's a lot of people that are not touching her writing style. I put it in enjoyed because I feel like to say you loved the book Beloved is weird, you know, because it's such an uncomfortable reading experience, like, and you're supposed to be uncomfortable. And that's why I felt like I couldn't say love, because I didn't love reading it. Like, I love Toni Morrison's writing. It's so amazing. But I did not love how I felt while I was reading it. And you're not supposed to, I don't feel like. You're not supposed to, like, love it. It's not there for that.
I want you to touch me on the inside part.
Oh, like, and then, like, when it goes more, when you find out like what happened with the mom and like why she did what she did and like her experiences being enslaved before she ran away, it's awful, it's horrific, it's terrible. It's not, especially being a mother, like this is not fun. However, such an important book on like generational wounds and healing, and even just specifically the wounds from slavery that like that generation had to deal with and go through. Motherhood during that time, it's really important book. It's just super uncomfortable. We have Fahrenheit 451. This was a reread. I haven't reread this book in a really long time, and I put it in enjoyed because I feel like there's other books that do the job of what this book is doing a little bit better in a more entertaining way, even though it's not necessarily supposed to be entertaining. But I did enjoy it. I wouldn't say like it was like such a fun experience, like I loved reading it, like I didn't, but it was still good. I still enjoyed it. I did love the part where Montauk just like snaps on those wives and he's like, y'all are pissing me off, like get out, and he just like goes in on it. It's so funny. I like that part, and I forgot about it until I just reread it. The ending is good. I like how they're all coming together and they have to like remember the words, and like that just shows the importance of like books. Even if you can't write them, you can't read them, somebody's got to remember them. But I didn't love it, you know. It didn't like engross me. It is kind of a quick read too, like I think it's under 200 pages, so that's why I didn't love it. Eternal Ruin, this went in loved. The only reason why I didn't go in mind blown is I just didn't feel like there was like complexity in the themes, so I just put it in loved. Kidan is such a relatable protagonist, main character. The things that she's going through, the stuff with her sister being so, her sister, you get more of an exploration into June's like whole characteristics and why she is the way that she is. Because in the first book, at the very end, you're like, fuck her. Like, I don't like her. I don't like her at all. I don't want to hear anything she has to say. And when you are reading Eternal Ruin, the first June chapter, you're like, I don't want to read this. I don't care about her side. I don't want to hear her side. But as you're forced to see her perspective, you're like, okay, all right. The ending of Eternal Ruin ruins you, for lack of better words. I'm irritated. I'm actually sad. I'm heartbroken. The third book is supposed to come out in November, and I will have to read it immediately, because I can't believe it ended like that. I was very hurt. And I put it in love because you're so engrossed in the story. Like, you are with Kidan the whole time. You know, you're just going through it with her and you feel for her because you're like, girl, be nice to yourself. You're doing your best. Parable of the Sower was scary. And I was mind blown by like everything that was happening, because it was like, whoa. Like all of the stuff you can literally see happening like in the near distant future. I was very mind blown. However, I feel like I never see people talking about like it kind of has a hopeful ending. We're at the end of the world and all these crazy things are happening that are totally preventable because of history, and if we just paid attention to all these things, it wouldn't happen. It's still hopeful because she still finds a group of people that she can relate to, that can see her perspective and in this crazy world. So it's almost hopeful, you know, at the end where they find their little land and they're gonna farm and they're gonna have their little school, you know, and they have the little kids. I don't know. I feel like nobody says this book is hopeful. I personally feel like it's hopeful. And the people who are like end of the world dooms this, that like are like, oh my gosh, everything is so bad and everything's so trash and it's the worst it's ever been. You gotta chill. I think you should really read this book and really read it and really accept the ending for what it is, because I personally feel like Octavia Butler did not write this book for us to just be like pessimists and like, oh well, everything's gone to shit, like it's trash, we can't do anything. Like, no, I think it's meant to be, you know, you're still supposed to be in community, and being in community is your best way forward, and also being hopeful for the future is like the whole point. And if you lose all hope for the future, then it doesn't matter. And that's why this book is in the mind blown category, because I feel like that layer, that piece of this book gets lost in the critique of it, in the review of it. And people need to pay attention to that. You need to. This Assata Shakur, her autobiography. This book put me in a rage. As soon as I finished Parable of the Sower,
I'm all hopeful and happy.
Not happy, but I'm hopeful, right? And then I read Assata Shakur and I'm like,
let's burn it all.
Let's just burn it all. Burn it all. Because the things Assata Shakur went through against, like literally against your rights as a human being, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like the stuff with that they did to her right after she gave birth to her daughter, despicable. And her talking about the COINTELPRO and like all the things that the government was doing to the Black Panthers, it put me in a rage. Honestly, I'm still kind of coming off of it right now. It was really important read. I was definitely mind blown. I had no idea of the experiences that she went through. So glad that I read it. I definitely feel like I need to read more autobiographies. It did make me quite emotional, especially the stuff that she went through after giving birth, even while she was pregnant, like trying to like just take away her autonomy. And she just kept asserting herself every time, like no matter what. Even in the courtroom, they're beating her up. She's still asserting her rights and her autonomy as a person, which is really powerful. Then the chapter where she talks about you know, people are like, oh, don't bring kids into this world, and like as a revolutionary, it's like a really hard thing to grasp with having kids in this society that is so messed up. But all of her words about how she's still hopeful and like kids are the future really resonated with me. I really enjoyed that. So it is a book that I will take with me. And that's all the books in the mind blown category are books that I will continue to take with me throughout life, and I'll probably reread again. That is my tier ranking list for all the books I read in January, February, and March. Like I said, it was a great, like all heavy hitters. I really liked everything that I read except for Wuthering Heights. Sorry. I know that's some people's favorite. I'm sorry. I don't want to doo-doo on your favorite, but like really, that's your favorite? That's your favorite? That was 22 books. I got 78 more to go. So stick with me while we get there together.